We didn't hire you for your opinion. Those words, spoken by my CEO, echoed in the silence of that meeting room. It was a punch to the gut, a cold splash of water that woke me up from the dream I thought I was living. There I was, 38 years old, sitting in a high-rise office, the picture of success. Yet I felt like a fraud. This was the job I was supposed to want. The corner office, the big title, the even bigger salary. It was what I had been working towards my entire life. But as my CEO's words hung in the air, a terrifying realization dawned on me. I was living someone else's dream. The climb to this point had been long and arduous. I had sacrificed relationships, passions, and even my health in pursuit of this definition of success. Now I found myself at the summit, looking around at the barren landscape I had created and feeling utterly empty. How did I get here? It wasn't a sudden detour, it was a slow, insidious drift guided by the expectations of others, family, friends, society. They all had a say in what my life should look like. And like so many others, I had fallen into the trap. We live in a world obsessed with status. It's the silent language that dictates our choices, from the car we drive to the careers we pursue. We're taught that our worth is measured by our accomplishments, our possessions, our position on the social ladder. This relentless pursuit of status, of keeping up with the Joneses, leaves us feeling perpetually inadequate. We're on a treadmill of achievement, always striving for the next milestone, the next promotion, the next thing that will finally prove our worth. But here's the truth. Status is a fickle mistress. It's a temporary high, a fleeting validation that never truly satisfies. And in our desperate pursuit of it, we sacrifice the very things that bring true fulfillment, our passions, our values, our authentic selves. The weight of societal expectations can be suffocating. It keeps us small, confined to the narrow path deemed acceptable by others. We become afraid to take risks, to pursue our dreams, to stand out from the crowd. But what if there was another way? What if we could break free from the status trap and create a life that is truly our own? A life defined not by external validation, but by internal fulfillment. A life driven by purpose, passion, and the courage to be truly ourselves. The status trap is a cunning beast. It whispers promises of happiness and security, but delivers only emptiness and discontent. It's the seductive illusion that external validation will fill the void within, that achieving a certain level of status will finally bring us peace. We see it everywhere, the perfectly curated Instagram feeds, the relentless pursuit of likes and followers, the obsession with titles and accolades. We buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't even like, all in the hopes of climbing a ladder that leads to nowhere. The truth is, true success has nothing to do with status. It's not about the size of your house, the car you drive, or the number of zeros in your bank account. It's about living a life that is true to yourself, a life filled with purpose, passion, and meaningful connections. Conformity, the silent killer. The status trap thrives on conformity. It pressures us to fit in, to follow the well-worn path, to blend seamlessly into the background. We're taught to prioritize being agreeable over being authentic, to value security over self-expression. Studies have shown that conformity can actually reduce short-term stress. When we conform, we avoid conflict, we minimize rejection, we feel a sense of belonging, but this comes at a cost. Over time, suppressing our true selves, our unique thoughts and desires takes a toll on our mental health. We become disconnected from our own needs, our own values, our own definition of success. The constant pressure to conform leads to anxiety, depression, and a pervasive sense of emptiness. We become strangers to ourselves, living lives that are pale imitations of the lives we were meant to live. The price of fitting in is steep. We sacrifice our creativity, our individuality, our very essence. We become cogs in a machine, our dreams and aspirations slowly fading away. We trade authenticity for acceptance, passion for conformity, and purpose for the illusion of security. We tell ourselves that playing it safe is the responsible thing to do, that following the rules will lead to happiness. But the truth is, true happiness comes from living a life that is true to ourselves. a life that reflects our values, our passions, our unique gifts. The status trap is a gilded cage. It may appear comfortable and secure, but it's still a prison. It's time to break free. It's time to redefine success on our own terms, to embrace our individuality, and to live lives that are authentic, courageous, and truly fulfilling. This pressure to conform, to silence our true selves, isn't just a personal struggle. It's a global phenomenon. Cultures around the world have their own versions of the status trap, their own ways of enforcing conformity and punishing those who dare to stand out. The Japanese have a saying, "The nail that sticks out gets hammered down." It's a stark reminder that standing out can be dangerous, that conformity is often valued over individuality. In Australia, they call it tall poppy syndrome, the tendency to cut down anyone who dares to rise above the rest. Even in the seemingly egalitarian societies of Scandinavia, there's the law of Jante, a set of unwritten social rules that discourage individual ambition and achievement. It's a reminder that the pressure to conform is deeply ingrained in human nature, a primal instinct to avoid standing out from the tribe. We're lured into the status trap with promises of comfort, security, and belonging. But these promises are often hollow, leading to a life of quiet desperation and unfulfilled potential. We trade our dreams for golden handcuffs, our passions for a steady paycheck, our authentic selves for a place at the table. We convince ourselves that it's too late to change course, that we're too old, too settled, too afraid to start over. We cling to the familiar, even when it leaves us feeling empty and uninspired. We choose the comfort of the known over the uncertainty of the unknown, even when the known is slowly suffocating our souls. But what if we dared to break free? What if we stopped listening to the voices of doubt and fear and started listening to the whispers of our own hearts? What if we acknowledged the longing within, the yearning for something more, the desire to live a life that is truly our own? Comfort can be a dangerous drug. It numbs us to the possibilities that lie beyond our self-imposed limitations. It dulls our senses to the whispers of our own hearts. It lulls us into a state of complacency that can be difficult to shake. We become so accustomed to the status quo, to the predictable rhythms of our lives, that we forget what it feels like to be truly alive, to feel the exhilaration of pursuing our dreams, to experience the joy of living a life that is aligned with our values. The truth is, growth and comfort rarely coexist. Breaking free from the status trap requires us to step outside of our comfort zones, to embrace the unknown, to risk failure in pursuit of something more meaningful. It demands that we confront our fears, challenge our limiting beliefs, and step into the fullness of who we were always meant to be. It was in the depths of my own status trap-induced misery that I stumbled upon a life-altering realization. Fear could be my compass, not my captor. Instead of letting fear paralyze me, I could use it as a guide, a powerful indicator pointing me towards the life I was meant to live. At that time, the pull of entrepreneurship was a constant hum beneath the surface of my carefully constructed life. It was a terrifying prospect, leaving the security of my corporate job, risking financial stability, facing the judgment of others. But it was also exhilarating, a chance to create something meaningful, to build something on my own terms. I realized that the fear I felt wasn't a sign that I should play it safe. It was a sign that I was on the precipice of something extraordinary. It was a call to action, an invitation to step into the unknown and embrace the uncertainty of the path less traveled. For years, I had been living my life based on an unspoken set of rules, a script handed down by society, family, and even well-meaning friends. I had been seeking their approval, their validation, their permission to be happy. But in that moment of reckoning, I realized something profound. I didn't need their permission. I had the power to give myself permission to pursue my own definition of success, to create a life that felt authentic and fulfilling, regardless of external expectations. I could choose to prioritize my own values, my own passions, my own vision for the future. It was a liberating realization. I no longer had to dim my light to fit in with others, to shrink back from opportunities that felt too big, too risky, too unconventional. I could embrace my unique perspective, my unconventional ideas, my willingness to challenge the status quo. As I began to disentangle myself from the clutches of the status trap, I discovered another powerful principle. What you focus on expands. The more I fixated on my perceived shortcomings, on the ways in which I didn't measure up to societal standards, the more inadequate I felt. But when I shifted my focus to my strengths, to the things that brought me joy, to the impact I wanted to make in the world, a remarkable transformation occurred. My energy increased, my creativity soared, and I felt a renewed sense of purpose. I realized that my time and attention were precious resources, and I had the power to choose where I invested them. By focusing on my passions, on cultivating meaningful relationships, on making a positive contribution to the world, I could create a life that felt both fulfilling and significant. These principles weren't just abstract concepts. They were hard-won lessons forged in the fires of my own experience. I thought back to my 12-year-old self, the kid who wasn't afraid to hustle, to stand out, to do whatever it took to create a better future. I was the kid who woke up before dawn to collect recyclable cans and bottles, the one who wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty, the one who embraced the unconventional path even when it meant being ridiculed and misunderstood. That 12-year-old version of myself hadn't been afraid to be different, to challenge the status quo, to pursue his goals with unwavering determination. He had understood on an intuitive level that true success wasn't about fitting in, it was about making a difference. As I reconnected with that fearless entrepreneurial spirit, I realized that I had a choice to make. I could continue to play it safe, to prioritize comfort and conformity, to live a life dictated by the expectations of others. Or I could choose to be courageous, to embrace the unknown, to live a life that was true to my own values and aspirations. I could choose to be unreasonable. Not unreasonable in the sense of being difficult or demanding, but unreasonable in the sense of refusing to accept the limitations imposed by society, by fear, by my own self-doubt. I could choose to define success on my own terms, to pursue my passions with unwavering commitment, to make a meaningful impact on the world. The journey to break free from the status trap is rarely a straight line. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and temptations to slip back into old patterns of behavior. It's in these moments that we need to remind ourselves of the powerful truths that have guided us along the way. One quote that has become a sort of mantra for me is by Steve Martin. Be so good they can't ignore you. It's a simple yet profound statement, a reminder that true success isn't about chasing validation. It's about honing your craft, mastering your skills, and becoming so undeniably good at what you do that the world has no choice but to take notice. Another quote that resonates deeply with me is by Tyler Durden from the movie Fight Club. We buy things we don't need with money. We don't have to impress people that we don't like. It's a scathing indictment of our consumerist culture, a reminder that the pursuit of status often leads us down a path of emptiness and dissatisfaction. Imagine for a moment that you're at the bottom of the ocean. It's dark, disorienting, and you're not sure which way is up. Suddenly, you see a faint light in the distance. Relieved, you swim towards it, hoping it will lead you to safety. That light, my friends, is the allure of the status trap. It promises comfort, security, and a sense of belonging. But as you get closer, you realize that the light belongs to an anglerfish, a creature that uses its luminescence to lure unsuspecting prey into its jaws. The anglerfish doesn't care about your well-being. It only cares about its next meal. And just like the anglerfish, the status trap doesn't care about your happiness, your fulfillment, or your unique potential. It only cares about keeping you small, complacent, and under its control. But here's the good news. You are not a helpless fish. You have the power to choose a different path, to swim away from the alluring but dangerous light of conformity and towards the surface, where the sun is shining, the air is fresh, and you can finally breathe freely. Breaking free from the status trap is not about rejecting ambition or achievement. It's about redefining success on your own terms. It's about aligning your actions with your values, pursuing your passions with unwavering commitment, and making a meaningful contribution to the world. It's about embracing your unique gifts, cultivating your talents, and sharing them with the world without apology or hesitation. It's about having the courage to be different, to stand out from the crowd, to be the unreasonable force of nature you were always meant to be. It all boils down to a single, powerful question. Do you have the courage to choose? The courage to choose your own path, to define success on your own terms, to live a life that is a true reflection of your values, your passions, your unique and magnificent self. It's a question that has echoed through the ages, a challenge whispered on the wind, a call to action that resonates deep within the human spirit. It's a question that demands an honest answer, a commitment to living a life of intention, of purpose, of unwavering authenticity. The world doesn't need more people who are content to simply fit in, to follow the well-worn path, to play it safe and small. The world needs your unique gifts, your unconventional ideas, your courageous spirit. It needs your light to shine brightly, illuminating the path for others who are searching for their own way. Embrace the unreasonable within you. That fierce, independent spirit that refuses to be defined by limitations, that dares to dream big, to challenge the status quo, to create a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. The world needs your unreasonable passion, your unwavering commitment, your relentless pursuit of a better tomorrow. It needs your creativity, your innovation, your willingness to see the world differently and to take action to make it a better place. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let self-doubt dim your light. Don't let the expectations of others dictate the course of your life. You are capable of more than you can possibly imagine. You are worthy of a life that is filled with joy, purpose, and authentic connection. This isn't just about you. This is about the legacy you leave behind, the impact you make on the world, the ripple effect of your courage and authenticity. When you choose to live a life true to yourself, you inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of human potential, a living, breathing example of what's possible when we break free from the constraints of conformity and embrace the fullness of who we were always meant to be. So I leave you with this final thought, a simple yet profound truth that has the power to transform your life. What you focus on expands. Focus on fear, and fear will consume you. Focus on limitation, and you will create a life of limitations. But focus on your passions, your purpose, your unique and undeniable gifts, and watch in wonder as the universe conspires to make your dreams a reality. Choose courage, choose authenticity, choose to live a life that matters. The world is waiting.